Shifting focus to something that's announced today, SEBI Chairperson Madhabi Puri Buch weighed in on the flurry of sectoral and thematic schemes launched by the mutual funds over the past 1 year. Now, she said there's an incentive to sell these schemes, and the regulator is open to curbing this. Alex is joining us to explain what this is exactly.
All right, the context first. There has been an absolute flurry of sectoral and thematic schemes that has been launched by the mutual fund industry over the last 1 year. Let's look at some of this data. For actively managed equity mutual fund schemes, the inflows over the last 12 months have been about 4.1 lakh crore rupees. Out of that, the inflows into sectoral and thematic have been about 1.6 lakh crore, and that's about 40% of the total. Now, take a look at how much has come through NFOs, that is new fund offers, new schemes that are launched over the last 12 months, 81,774 crore, or roughly half of the inflows into these sectoral and thematic funds have come through NFOs. Take a look at how many schemes have been launched over the course of the last year, and you will find that there were 50 plus schemes that have been launched in that time frame, and about 90% of the total flows through NFOs have come through sectoral and thematic schemes. To put things into context, at the end of January 2025, there were 205 sectoral and thematic schemes, and 54 of those were launched just over the last 12 months. Now, understand why this is taking place. To understand that, you will have to understand what total expense ratio is. A total expense ratio is the cost that you bear when you invest in a mutual fund scheme. Now, the rules state that the mutual fund has to reduce the total expense ratio, which is described as a percentage of the net asset value, which is essentially the per unit cost of a mutual fund scheme. It has to reduce this as the assets under management go up. There is a grade in which this goes up. Let's pull that table up just so that you can understand how this works. On the first 500 crore, that is, if a scheme is launched today and in the new fund offer, 500 crore or less than 500 crore is collected, if you are one of those investors, you will pay a maximum of 2.25%. If it goes up to 750 crore, then that total expense ratio, the maximum that can be charged by the mutual fund scheme, goes down to 2%. And there's a graded reduction over the course of the increase in the assets under management till we go to 40,000 crore, beyond 40,000 crore, and then upwards of 50,000 crore. When it reaches upwards of 50,000 crore, and let's go to the next slide, and one more after that, about 1% is the amount that you would pay, right? So why is it important? Every new scheme that is offered, the mutual fund is able to charge a higher rate for the scheme. The distributor that is selling that to you gets a larger amount of money, and what happens is that they are incentivized to sell this to you. So if your distributor has come and told you, hey, there's this new scheme that you should consider, sell your old scheme and go to the new scheme, then you probably understand why that is taking place. SEBI chair is saying that when a regulator comes across certain things, they have to try and find out what the reason is. And they have actually found out that there is an incentive for the sale of these schemes, and they are open to curbing it. Now, the only way seemingly that they can curb this is to stop the approvals that they themselves have been giving over the course of the last 1 year. Remember, 54 schemes have been launched.
Interesting take, Alex, and quite a comprehensive understanding of and breakdown of the entire topic. Sunny, I'll come to you. Interesting takeaways coming in from the Amphi meet. What's your view with respect to everything that Madhabi Puri has said?
Yeah, definitely. I think if I talk from a mutual fund perspective or AMC company perspective, looking at a telescopic pricing model, obviously it makes sense for any AMC company to launch a new scheme and garner more yield or increase the yield by at a lower AUM, and that definitely augurs well for AMC or mutual fund company. But from a consumer perspective or from a investor who is investing in this NFO, obviously that leads to sometime mis-selling by the distributor, wherein distributor is incentivized by selling of a new NFO or new launch of any new scheme. So again, it's a dilemma between profit on one end and at the same time consumer interest on other end. I think ultimately, again, a thematic fund, if you look at it has got a higher risk because ultimately you are trying to invest in only one particular sector, which can have a cyclical upside, up and down over the period of 3 to 5 years. So again, what I feel is that ultimately this will be curbed by the SEBI. That is what I can feel or what I can get from the conversation by Honorable SEBI chairperson. And yeah, let's see how this plays out over the period of next 3 to 6 months.